Good morning. Good morning. This is an exciting day. This is an exciting day for our 2021 graduates. This is an exciting day for our 2022 graduates. This is an exciting day for our parents, for our friends, for our faculty, for our staff. It is an exciting day. And I would like to begin by asking all of you to join me for a minute in prayer. Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for today and allowing us together in this beautiful place of worship to celebrate the first graduating respiratory therapy class pinning. Thank you for these students who have worked so diligently to be here today. Thank you for the professors and clinical educators who helped them. Thank you for the family and friends who have supported them. Thank you for the many, many people and agencies who have supported our respiratory therapy program at Andrew College. We ask your blessing on each one of these students as they begin their next phase of life, dear Lord. We ask that you be with each one of us here today at this important occasion. Your presence is with us in this house of worship, as your presence is with us at all times. Thank you for our blessings, our freedoms, and our abilities to worship you. Amen. I cannot tell you how delighted we are to have you here today to honor and celebrate our respiratory therapy graduates of 2021. Please, please, please give them a hand. This pinning ceremony, one that allows you to enter a new phase of your career, is ceremonial, important, and transitional. Today marks the day that you begin your career as respiratory therapists. As our first class of respiratory therapists, you will always, always hold a special place in the history of Andrew College. You forged a path that others will follow. Andrew College owes you a debt of gratitude for your commitment to excellence. We are so excited for you. Andrew College is excited for you. I am excited for you. I have been excited about this ceremony. I've tried to contain myself, but these last few hours, I know everyone can tell just how thrilled I am that we are here today. Thank you to all the family, friends, faculty, and staff who are here today in your support. Thank you to these people sitting out here, as well as to the others who have helped you to get here today. Enjoy today. Today is your day. Be proud of yourselves. Celebrate yourselves. Andrew College is proud of you, and we will be delighted to call you alumni.
Thank you, Dr. Pittman. If y'all weren't aware, this is Dr. Karen Pittman. She is our Academic Dean of Students here at the college and has been a huge advocate of this program and our students, as well as Dr. Buchanan, our president, which you will hear from in just a short little bit. Students, thank you. Family, thank you. Thank you for supporting these students, hearing the worries and the woes and the sleepless nights, maybe not complaining, but concerns, possibly, and now hearing their excitement and supporting as their path furthers. This is not the end right here. On behalf of the clinical director, Lisa Shaw, and myself, welcome. Thank you. I also have to thank our advisory committee, Dr. Buchanan, Dr. Joan Darden, regional healthcare facilities that wanted this program. They asked for this program. The need is there. Thankfully, I am the person that got to start it and lead it. And thank y'all for taking the time and the commitment to be in our first class, taking a chance on us. We are very proud of these graduates. As we're all aware, it has been quite the trying year. A crazy new respiratory virus, being a respiratory student and respiratory therapist, that has been an additional challenge. We take it one day at a time. We have had to jump back and forth from online to in-person learning, had to move some clinical placements around, had to quarantine a little bit, but we made it through, and now you are trained to help fight this virus as well. So, good job. The group of students sitting to my left over here on the front row just completed their first 2 semesters of the program and are excited to begin their clinical journey, right? Excited? Yes, yes. The first 2 semesters of the program are in the classroom and in the lab, and it's a lot of listening and a lot of taking notes and a lot of test taking, and they anxiously await getting to do that real hands-on patient care. But understandably, we have to get them through those first 2 semesters first. So, congratulations. 2 semesters down, 3 to go, right? Yep. Next year, right there, right? All right. So, we want to honor them as they are here honoring our graduates with the form of a white coat for all of their hard work this year. The presentation of white coats is a rite of passage that introduces students to the profession of respiratory therapy. The event marks the transition, as I said, from the classroom to clinical rotations, and these 7 students, as I said, have completed that and are ready to start clinicals. The receipt of your white coat should not be considered an entitlement or confer an elite status. It just should remind you of the hallmarks of professionalism, and remember to include skill, good judgment, ethical practice, respect, integrity, collaboration, and dedication to patient safety. As you wear it, it should remind you of all of these skills. Each of you please come forward as I call your name. Okay. Alexis Baisden. Jackson Bigford. DeMarkel Duncan. Brianna Kitchens. Harley Middleton. Naisha Starling. And Hannah Walker. And we will go through all of those skills again right before you go into the clinical setting. Okay, so we can review them. Thank you. All right, it is my privilege to introduce our speaker today. She has been an advocate for our students and drives our college to be regionally relevant with our educational programs. Dr. Buchanan began her tenure as the second woman to lead Andrew College in June of 2015. She has over 40 years of higher education experience and served in the United States Navy, retiring at the rank of captain. When transitioning to Andrew College, Dr. Buchanan asked, how can Andrew College best serve the region of Southwest Georgia? One way she decided to do this was to establish a respiratory therapy program. And here we are. We are very thankful respiratory therapy was a path that she was willing to take and support and continue to support. So our guest speaker, Dr. Buchanan.
The best thing about speaking is you get to take your mask off momentarily. Please, come on in. Find a seat. Come on in, come on in. I don't know why I am curiously unstressed about this pinning ceremony. Y'all are tense. So I'm going to urge you to breathe, which is particularly appropriate, don't you think, for a respiratory therapy pinning ceremony. I'm going to meander a little, which is also kind of dangerous. I am completely unscripted, unlike Katie, who just did a beautiful job. Thank you. And Dean Pittman, who always does a beautiful job. We are gathered here in the college's home church. And when you all said, can we do pinning in the church? I'm like, partly because of COVID protocol, and it's just a good size, okay? And partly because I think this serves as a really wonderful reminder of how Andrew College got started. And I also then, I'm going to pull out some verbiage from the Book of Discipline to remind all of us that every academic program that we offer, and particularly the ones that we have started since I've been here in 2015, I have referred to the United Methodist Book of Discipline for philosophical roots, right? So every time Dean Pittman has had to write up feasibility studies for the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, we've referred to some of this language, right? Whether formally, cognitively or not. We did it first for nursing, which I got going on in 2015. And then I will tell you the story of respiratory therapy. So I'm going to flip back and forth a little bit. And I'm going to talk about each of these graduates a little bit. I don't even know what year it was. It was right before we hired Katie Brown. And I've only been here now 6 years, but I was summoned to Miller County to meet with Robin Rao, and Karen was there, and Dr. Joan Darden was there. And Robin Rao, we had started nursing. I think we had started nursing. We had admitted our first class, and Robin Rao, who, if any of you and one of you is going to work in Miller County, so Robin's from Rhode Island, and she still talks like she's from Rhode Island, which does not fit in South Georgia. But anyway, she said, well, nursing is all great. Like, I'm really glad you've got nursing up and going, but now I need you to do something else. And I said, what's that? And she said, I need you to start a respiratory therapy program. And I said, sure, we'll do that. And I turned to Joan Darden and I said, what's respiratory therapy? And I was kind of kidding, but I wasn't really kidding, because I knew what nursing was. Because every college I've ever worked at since 1978 has had a really, really strong nursing program. But I really didn't know what I know what respiratory therapists did, sort of, and you thought you did too, but then when we talked together on April 20th, that phrase critical care came up. I'm going to remind you of that in a moment. So I said, sure, what's respiratory therapy? So, off we went. And then we hired Katie, and then we hired Lisa. And then we got the last approval from the National Board to start an associate degree in respiratory therapy. Okay, so we're the last one to be approved as an associate degree. Now, we want you to get your bachelor's degree, and we'll make that easy for you when the time comes. So you got to pass your boards, and you're probably going to have to pass your boards, and then I bet you they're going to let us do that. Right? Okay, so just say, then what? Absolutely. Absolutely, there you go. So, Kimberly Walls of Albany, married with kids who are 10 and 2, right? Talia Wesley, our only what I would call our traditional age student, who actually came to Andrew College to play basketball. She is recruited to play basketball, which she did extremely well and will continue to do extremely well. And Kimberly is from Albany. Talia went to Early County. Taylor Tyson from Leesburg. There you go. When we talked a little bit again, we talked about how if there was something they had not anticipated about this program of study and clinical experience, again, it was the critical care element. Brittany Krum, again, Albany, fairly local, had a baby in October, has a 12-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 6-month-old. I have no idea how you people did this. Courtney Barnes. Where's Courtney? Here you are. Has a 2-year-old and an 18-year-old. I have no idea how you did this. Wants to work in neonatal ICU. Heather Edwards of Leesburg. Her dad had a lung disease, and that in part is what inspired her to pursue this career. I asked them to describe their faculty. Yeah. One they referred to as patient, the other they referred to as fierce. Now, let me tell you how hard it is to start an academic program that requires national accreditation. Okay, so everything we do at Andrew College we are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. Okay, for nursing and for respiratory therapy, which are high stakes programs, right? Because this is all great and the white coats are great, but you got to pass boards. That's the high stakes part. You got to pass boards. So this is a wonderful day. And the pins are beautiful. This is great, but you got to pass boards. Okay? So that's the difference. The rest of our graduates at Andrew College, I'm going to transfer to a 4-year school. I have a 3.0 grade point average. I didn't do so great in college algebra. That's all. It's fine, right? It's fine. It's not high stakes. There isn't that exit test that actually licenses you. So that it's a big deal. So I like fierce. Fierce is good. You have no idea the work that goes into starting a program like this. And for your faculty and Dean Pittman and others on the faculty, okay, who help them satisfy all standards, there's just an unbelievable amount of work before you all ever even walk through the door, okay? And then I think each and every one of you should be doing a blog, okay? Because to do clinical work, to have children in school during a pandemic, for you to be in school, for us to conduct the life of the college as effectively as possible during this pandemic has been really, really hard. So I so appreciate what you have done to be this first graduating class, and I commend you. Let me say something about, we happen to have 6 women sitting in front of us here. A couple of them were medical assistants, a couple of them, at least 2, were LPNs. Let me say a little thing about Andrew College's role in regional uplift. Let's just talk about earning power and what a slice of economic development translates to when 6 women, happen to be women in this class, I see you guys over here, okay, that's good, it's good. When 6 women elevate their earning power. And for those of you with children, what elevating your earning power means. And then whether it's a single income or whether it's part of a double income family, what elevating your earning power means. That's huge to Southwest Georgia. That's huge and very important. So when we talk about nursing, critical shortage, respiratory therapy, critical shortage and great jobs. And elementary education, bachelor's degree in elementary education, which we just started with a special emphasis in reading proficiency. Yes, you get the elevator speech here at this ceremony too. You know, when you graduate with a bachelor's degree as an elementary education teacher and you go out and work in a public school, you actually make pretty good money. You make pretty good money, okay? And so again, we are hoping to educate fairly local people for fairly local jobs, and that's all part of Regional Uplift. I'm very proud of that. Here in this place, this space, please take this place in, especially since the church hired a small specialty company out of North Carolina to take the old faded plexiglass off the outside of these beautiful stained glass windows, restore the glazing when needed, and put new acrylic on the outside of it. This church, along with the church next door, along with the Baptist church on the corner, along with the historically African American churches in town, Cuthbert's an old community. It's an old community. Used to have 3 colleges. We're the only one that has survived. And we have survived in part because of this partnership with the Methodist Church. Through history, through time, okay? We are woven into the social fabric of the community. It's important. We don't beat y'all to death with Methodist stuff, okay? That's not what Methodists do. There are no creed statements. There are no faith statements. We don't ask you if you're a United Methodist. We don't make you go to church, okay? But we are church related. And so what does being church related mean when we're starting new academic programs? Well, the Book of Discipline is issued, I don't know, Katie's probably more actually United Methodist than I am. It's not even every decade, okay? But the Book of Discipline includes a portion called social principles. And those basically articulate what a given denomination stands for, okay? And you might say, well, what in the world, where are we going with this? How does this relate to respiratory therapy? All right, let me read you page 114, letter M. Faithful care for dying persons. While we applaud medical science for efforts to prevent disease and illness and for advances in treatment that extend the meaningful life of human beings, we recognize that every mortal life will ultimately end in death. Death is never a sign that God has abandoned us, no matter what the circumstances of the death might be. As Christians, we must always be prepared to surrender the gift of mortal life and claim the gift of eternal life through the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Caring for dying persons is part of our stewardship of the divine gift of life when cure is no longer possible. Let me read that one again. You all are the ones who use the phrase critical care, that you realized that this profession, it's about critical care. Care for dying persons is part of our stewardship of the divine gift of life when cure is no longer possible. We encourage the use of medical technologies to provide palliative care at the end of life when life-sustaining treatments no longer support the goals of life and when they have reached their limits. So during this pandemic, when an individual has been put on a ventilator, and you're put on a ventilator, and you all are the only ones, that's what you told me, right? You are the only ones that operate and control and manipulate ventilators and oxygen levels in patients. That is critical care. And when I said take a breath, we can all take a breath today. But the people you're going to be caring for, they can't take that breath. It's powerful stuff. I could read more, but I won't. Standing between, me is, the pins and, the reception, so I don't want to do that. So again, I did want to mention, ironically enough, 3 years later with COVID, in between and this realization, you've internalized that. And I don't know where you all are with your clinical experience. Yeah, not yet. When you walk into a patient's room, and whether or not there's a family there with that individual, I hope that part of this, oh yeah, I went to a church-related college, that you're just mindful of how very important and precious in a spiritual way, that ability to sustain life is. And I think you do. I think you get that. So I would like to believe that the difference between us and a technical college, there's nothing wrong with technical colleges at all, but they don't refer back to their very founding principles. Why? What's the why? What's the purpose really of this program? It's not just all about earning power. It's not just about enrollment. It's about serving a region, okay, in a way that only, I believe, a church-related college can. So thank you for indulging me with that. I hope that made a little bit of sense. You really ought to do a blog or a journal on what it was like to be in school during a pandemic, trying to take care of kids who may or may not have been in school, been able to be in school. Yeah, Katie's kids were on campus, being entertained by notebooks, because that's just how life has been, right? It's been really challenging, but you did it. You did it. You did it on time. And the patient one over there and the fierce one over there, that's who got you through. That's who got you through. That's who is absolutely dedicated to, when we knew we couldn't go to clinical, it was pretty much a big old nightmare, because how do you fulfill national board certification requirements for clinical when you can't go to clinical? Okay? So you did it, and you did it because they figured that out. So this is not just a first pinning. I hope that this is a very, very unusual pinning. And that next year I'm looking at people who don't have masks on their faces, right? And we can talk and laugh and hug, and we can do that in bigger numbers, right? But for now this is special, and I hope you feel special. Dean Pittman is absolutely right. I know she's been really excited about this. This is a huge accomplishment for Andrew College, and it's a huge accomplishment for you. So thank you for choosing Andrew. Thank you all for choosing Andrew. And at this point, would you please help me thank these two faculty people and my academic dean for everything they've done for this program thus far. I thank you. God bless you. Best of luck.
Thank you, Dr. Buchanan. Not sure who y'all mean by a patient one and a fierce one. We can discuss that later. But I'm looking at a row of fierce individuals as well. Saving lives, right? And passing boards, right? Because I told y'all, as soon as we get done here, I'm going to my office and releasing your names to the NBRC to register to take your first board exam. Okay? We're ready. Now we do have a few awards to give out. The first 4 awards are going to be awards that were given by the college. These students were nominated for an award for one of our college achievements, And we did not have a real award ceremony this year, so we wanted to recognize these students while we are all here together. Our first award is a Sarah Ann Staples Award. This is for excellence in the pursuit of a degree in science. This student must have a GPA of 3.5 or above and show a genuine interest in pursuing a career in the sciences or medical field. And our first-year student, Jackson Bigford, received this award. And while Jackson is standing up here, he has also received the John H. Woodall Enhanced Learning Grant for students. This grant is awarded to 2 students who display a thirst for knowledge. It supports the students' travel and registration fees for a professional conference. So we hope to send Jackson to a conference next year. The next award is the Certificate of Excellence for Outstanding Performance in our Religion course. This award goes to Brianna Kitchens. And if any of you have taken our religion course, you understand what this award means. Great. Thank you, Brianna. The next award from Andrew College is the Andy Award for Leadership. It is a very beautiful statue, and we could not be more honored than to give it to Talia Wesley. It is one of the highest honors that is given at Andrew College. Talia has demonstrated the highest level of leadership, services, and achievement. She has demonstrated outstanding leadership qualities in the classroom, the clinical setting, and the basketball court. She's well respected by her peers, as well as her instructors, her clinical preceptors. She's an RA. I just don't know what else to say about Talia. All around, great leader. All right. Our next honor is the Lambda Beta National Honor Society recognition. Lambda Beta Honor Society is the National Honor Society for the profession of respiratory care. To qualify for membership, a respiratory care student must hold a GPA which ranks in the top 25% of their graduating class. The student must be of good character and exceed academically. Taylor Tyson has been inducted into the Lambda Beta National Honor Society. Next up is the Respiratory Therapy Program Academic Achievement Award. The recipient of this award has achieved academic excellence in the respiratory therapy program. Whereas Lambda Beta is overall GPA, the Respiratory Academic Achievement Award is the highest grades in the respiratory courses. This student has studied constantly, does not hesitate to ask a question, always has her hand up to answer questions in class. She has exceeded in all of our expectations. Kimberly Walls, Academic Achievement Award. Right. Now for our last award, it's the Outstanding Clinical Student Award. The Outstanding Clinical Student Award is given to the student that excels in the clinical setting and demonstrates professionalism at all times. This student was nominated by the respiratory therapists that were working with the student at multiple hospitals. Across the board, therapists she was working with contacted us all hours of the day and night to say, who is this girl and we want her. She has never called out of clinicals. She never asked to leave early. She found transportation as she could. She had a positive impression with therapists, nurses, physicians, anyone in the clinical setting. I've heard several stories of her direct patient care and with their family members. And Talia Wesley, please accept the Outstanding Clinical Student Award. Thank you all for your dedication again. All right, now time for the pins. All right, when you come to receive your pin, you are also going to receive a little green pressure valve wrench. These were sent to us from Mr. and Mrs. Brian Davidson, who have been wonderful supporters of our respiratory program since the beginning, and also owners of Flowtech, which creates respiratory equipment and oxygen therapy devices. So they have generously sent those to each of you. It has your name engraved on it with Andrew College pinning ceremony and the date. Okay? All right, please come forward as I call your name. Courtney Barnes. And if anyone works in the hospital, you know how hard it is to find one of these pressure valve wrenches. So now their name is on it. All right. Brittany Krull. Taylor Tyson. Kimberly Walls. Last but not least, Talia Wesley. Please help me congratulate these recipients. Congratulations. Get on this.
Well, to say that today is an exciting morning is an understatement. Congratulations to all of you. We are all so very proud of you. Congratulations to all of you. We are very proud of you and looking forward to this event next year at this time. As I mentioned at the beginning of the ceremony, you will always hold a very special place in the history of Andrew College. And I thank you for that. I thank you for the time and the effort that you have spent here, and I just look forward to hearing from you again and where you are and what you are doing. Now, we do have refreshments for all, for graduates, for first year who are now sophomores. Everyone here in the fellowship hall, we please invite you to join us so that you can celebrate, and celebrate. And thank you to everyone who has helped today to make this a joyous occasion. And congratulations to our 2021 respiratory therapy graduates.